Good morning, this is Kathleen at oldworldfarmhouse.com, and today I'm going to show you how to do a wax resist with paint to get a really awesome finish that looks like you sanded and have tons of layers, but you didn't, you just used wax. And it's going to be a lovely French country style sweet girls bedroom set that I'm working on. So let's get started. I always like to find a piece of art to use as inspiration, like a jumping off point when I start to paint a piece of furniture. And in this case, I found Edgar Degas' Dancers in Pink. And that was the way that their tulle skirts look was my inspiration to do a wax resist with two different shades of pink on these dressers. So I like to call these the Dancers in Pink dressers. I've already painted the drawers with one coat of Sherwin-Williams azalea flower. My little girl really wants pink, and I wanted to knock it back and make it a little bit more sophisticated than just pink, even though I know she'd be happy with like just a plain pink drawer, but Mama would not be. So we're gonna try to do a few lighter coats over a wax resist. So how to do a wax resist? I'm going to take this is a little tea light candle that I popped out of its metal backing, and this is easy to hold. It's just like a little puck. And then I'm going to just rub this very firmly all over each of these drawers and the dresser itself. Get closer so you can see. I actually do want quite a bit of this pink to show underneath the top coats of paler pink and white that I'm going to put on. I really want a lot of it to peep through, so I am being quite aggressive with my wax, because everywhere that I rub this wax, the next coat of paint is not going to stick. So I do want it to look layered, but I also want a lot of the pink to show. Because my little girl does really love this color. I'm hoping this is something that she'll like for a long time, and then maybe when she's a teenager she'll want to ask for an update, and maybe by then she'll be painting her own. Okay, so I have waxed all of these with my little candle, and I'm just going to brush them off quickly with a rag, because some wax crumbs from the candle inevitably get stuck. Now I'm going to mix my top coat, which is going to be a custom blend of Sherwin-Williams azalea flower in this super paint here, and it's in a satin, and then this Sherwin-Williams pure white in their cashmere line, which is in a flat. And I just want to say these two paints that I'm using are pretty much purely accidental. We had a friend who didn't like this gallon of pink she ordered, and so she passed it on to me, and my little girl happened to want pink furniture, and I said, well, this is the pink we're using because I have a whole gallon of it, but I wanted to cut it with white, and so I went in and I just wanted their pure white in the cheapest line, but they didn't have it available because of the raw material shortages that are happening everywhere right now. Or actually, I don't know if it's that, or I can't, yeah, something about material shortages. So they had to give it to me in cashmere, which is a higher end line of Sherwin-Williams. But anyway, the main thing is the colors are pure white and azalea flower. So I'm going to take a paper plate, here it is, and I am going to mix these by starting with the white. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of white onto, or a lot of bit of white onto my plate. It's a bit messy. Big gallons of paint here. Wipe my finger off. I'm going to pour that onto my plate. So I have like a full plate. These are the luncheon size plates. And then I'm going to take the pink, and with my stir stick, I am going to start mixing it in until I get a color that I like. My inspiration for this lighter pink that I want on top is from the Farrow and Ball color Middleton pink, which, yes, I think is named after our Duchess Catherine. So I'm just gonna mix it until I like the hue. I'm just gonna dip my stir stick in my gallon of paint again. I realize I'm gonna get a little bit of white in there by doing that, but that's okay. So this is just like another dip, and now I'm gonna stir this. And again, you can see this is not, I'm not measuring in any way. I am just eyeballing the color until I get something that I enjoy looking at. And that is the only criteria. I have a vision. Okay, this is getting better. It's starting to look blushy. I'm going to add, this is actually just about perfect, but I am going to go ahead and scoop just one more scoop with my stir stick from my gallon of pink. And I think this should do it. So I'm going to mix until all of the, and again, it takes a while. I'm not sure if it's because they're two different types of paint or what, but it takes a while to blend in all the swirlies before they finally go away. I'm going to do one more stir sticks full into here. So that's 4 if you were counting. I dipped my stir stick 4 times and got a glob of paint of the pink, and I've mixed it into a full plate, a full lunch size Walmart paper plate of white paint. Okay, I think this is going to do it. I think this is pink enough to get away from the white, from even the impression that it's white, which is what I wanted to get away from. And you could do this with any colors that you wanted to get a custom mix, or you don't have to mix paint. If you had, you know, if you want to do a wax resist and with 2 paints you already have, you know, of course that would work just fine. I'm going to take my trusty Purdy 2-inch angled brush, and I am going to put the top coat on. Kind of it's the fun mystery reveal, because you know, you don't remember, or you can't really see exactly where you rubbed in all of that candle wax. And just a quick note on these handles. A lot of times I will take hardware off when I paint, but when it's metal, I often don't, because I really like the way that metal looks painted and then just rubbed back. So I'll paint this, but then when I go to and finish it, I'll rub some of that paint off. But I like the look of hardware that's been painted and rubbed back a little bit and then waxed. I think it looks really nice. When you are rubbing your candle on your piece to do the resist, don't be shy, because the paint is pretty assertive and it will go over even some of the places that you thought you waxed. It's quite subtle, actually, which is what I love about it, because I don't like things that look very heavily or deliberately distressed, like something that you'd find at Hobby Lobby or something with this sort of factory distress finish on it. Trying to do something a little more subtle than that. Sometimes it ends up looking like that, and I do like that look, don't get me wrong. It's very pretty, it's just then it looks like you bought it. Okay, here is my first drawer finished with the wax resist. You can see where it just wouldn't go over that, and then just compare that to. So here it is with the 1 coat of azalea flower, and then here it is with my custom mix over top. Okay, and then when you're done with the painting, I like to go over my paint jobs with Minwax paste finishing wax. And I have this wax well brush, but you can use just a rag if you don't have a fancy wax brush. So yeah, you just take your brush and you push that wax, or brush or rag, and you just push the wax gently but firmly into the paint. Don't be afraid of really pushing it in to the paint strokes. After it's dried a bit, I take a soft cotton rag and I just buff it. If there's any orange wax, I rub it away, and I just buff it to a soft, hand-rubbed, beautiful sheen. You can see that coming up. I'm a sucker for that. I just think that is the prettiest thing on furniture. Here is the finished dresser. Edgar Degas ballerinas in pink inspired wax resist two-tone dresser for my little girl's room. The base coat is azalea flower, and the top coat is a custom mix of azalea flower and pure white. All paints are by Sherwin-Williams. I think it looks like a tutu. Makes me want to go dancing right now.